Agent, your briefing is almost over, and now it is time to finalize your understanding of the endowment effect by learning of the factors which influence this behavior and some practical business applications associated with it. Humans are inherently loss averse. This causes the endowment effect to occur. In this case, loss aversion refers to the tendency of people to strongly prefer avoiding losses than acquiring gains. Some studies suggest that losses are as much as twice as psychologically powerful as gains. The endowment effect describes the fact that people demand much more to give up an object than they are willing to spend to acquire it. The existence of this effect has been documented in numerous experiments. Interestingly, however, the endowment effect questions the credibility of another crucial concept, the Coase theorem. According to the Coase theorem, in a market with no transaction cost, the allocation of resources between two bargaining individuals will be the same, efficient, and should be independent of the initial definition of property rights. The Coase theorem's prediction that the final allocation of resources will be independent thus relies on one important assumption. An individual will value an asset or a right to make an action the same whether considering its acquisition or loss. Consequently, we can say that the maximum willingness to pay will be the same as the minimum compensation to accept. This normative notion takes into account the rationality of individuals, but due to the endowment effect, are individuals rational actors? Well, I guess not. People usually value gains and losses in terms of changes from some reference point rather than comparing the value of the end result. If this is the case, the Coase theorem's prediction that the allocation of resources will be independent of the initial assignment of property rights does not hold. In the last few years, however, psychologists have pointed out that the endowment effect results not from loss aversion, as traditionally thought, but from a sense of possession, a feeling that an object is mine. In one experiment involving coffee mugs, researchers found that buyers were willing to pay as much for a coffee mug as sellers demanded when the buyers already owned an identical mug. In another experiment, buyers' brokers and sellers' brokers agreed on the price of the mug, but both brokers traded at higher prices when they happened to own mugs that were identical to the ones they were trading. Given relative information and buyer and seller preferences, we can therefore conclude that ownership and not loss aversion causes the endowment effect. The endowment effect is higher for goods associated with the notion of self. One implication of these findings is applicable for clothing stores. If ownership increases how much a customer is willing to pay for a good, it would be wise for store owners to stimulate a sense of ownership in their customers. In a retail sense, think of fitting rooms. Research suggests that customers are more willing to purchase an item of clothing after they try it on. Similar tactics include free trials, sampling, and coupons. Congratulations, agent. This concludes your briefing of the endowment effect.